Welcome to the Angels Brief, the podcast series. We bring together the smartest minds in angel investing and ambitious startup founders to share their stories, insights, experience, and much more. The host for today's episode is Duran York, the CEO of Cityside Ventures and the co founder of Birmingham Angels. So let's get to it.
Hey, Tim, how are you?
Good, Duran. It's nice to see you again. Glad to
Yeah.
be here on another Monday.
After all the trip in Europe, tell me a little bit, how was the European trip?
It was fantastic. I got a chance to go to Birmingham, England. I was presenting there at a Cisco conference for public sector. It was a fantastic trip. I haven't been to the UK in a little while. I was unfortunately there during Wimbledon, and it was 95 degrees, so a little warm for the folks in the UK. And then I was just saying, we just got a chance to come on the way back and go through Istanbul, which I've never been through before. Really pretty area.
That's pretty cool. Okay, so since last time we were here in the studio, obviously there is a ton of development in AI space. So we want to talk about today, kind of, we talked about it earlier, right? Is the $1 billion question, if you will, or the $1 trillion question, if you will, is that dumb people get smarter or smart people get dumber with AI? What do you think?
I'm kind of starting to focus right now on AI's making smart people dumb, in a way, and I think that people are relying on it more than they should to answer questions that they maybe already know the answers to. And in some cases, I think they might be allowing it to replace critical thinking, and letting AI make decisions for them. So in that sense, I would say that it's making them dumber. So what would you say?
Yeah, I mean, I was listening to Eric Schmidt this weekend talking about AI. So he kind of outlined for people the 2 years, 5 year, 10 years development of AI. And he said that at least on a 3 years mark and on, he said the rate of development is going to be 100 times faster than it is today. And he said technology is not the problem; is society is not ready for it,
Yes.
and we are not paying attention to the fast development before the super intelligence is actually going to kick in. So do I think that it's make people smart people stupid? To a degree, it makes people lazier.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's stupid, so which means that if you use Google to do some search and try to operate your brain to get some answers, now it's just asking the question, get the answer, and make it easy. So people get lazier. Um, some neuroscientist from Bar-Ilan University in Tel Aviv wrote this paper, which is interesting. What's the impact on the human brain using artificial intelligence?
Wow.
So he said, yes, in some point, some area of the brain is going to become weaker and go, and some of the area become stronger in many ways. But we know that the longevity of humans and the happiness level of humans in the world is actually operating the brain,
Mm-hmm.
not just stimulating it, just operating it. So I don't know. Time will tell. But I see the young people that you're talking to today that with the phone, every time you ask a question, it's like, let's ask ChatGPT. I mean, it's like, I don't have to go to Google, do my research and do the stuff. Just ask the question, get the answer. And they take it as a face value. So, which is also dangerous.
Yes.
But I don't know. It's an interesting question.
Well, and I think that you just hit on something that's also very important is that we're training people from now on to have instant gratification and have the answers to everything at your fingertips. That you don't have to work for something anymore. You just should have the answer that you need right away. So it's lending itself to, people that are growing up with this in this environment that they're going to expect this from everything, that they don't know how to do the hard work because they're used to just having everything given to them nightly, nicely, neatly wrapped up in a package. And I think that that's taking away from the experience of getting hard work and actually trying to discern what's true and what's not.
No, you hit the point. I mean, I saw something on LinkedIn this weekend that somebody showed a chart about the whole the whole uh, industry of consulting. That
Mm-hmm.
the decline in consulting in the last 3 to 4 years was pretty dramatic, because historically people that retired from corporate America, experienced executives, went to the market to sell their expertise to the higher bidder. I came from the automotive business. I know a lot of stuff about it. AI replace all those expertise right now. You don't need to pay top dollars to get access to this information, which is AI can give you pretty quickly. So, but the question is, the AI got to a point that you can rely on the analysis as you rely on human with experience. I think we are a little bit away from this yet. If it's 2 years, 5 years, I don't know. But it's a great. I mean, I get probably 100 inquiries a week on LinkedIn from people that offer consulting services, and
Mm,
just the explosion of all the people that are reaching out to me tell me that there's no business out there for them, right? Which then what, right? And and especially people that stay in corporate America to the later years of their lives because they host a lot of expertise the company don't want to lose. It's not the case anymore.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, and there's some practicality to this as well. Like for example, I couldn't just replace you with an AI because I could have somebody that could perhaps listen to people, evaluate pitches, automate some things, send some emails. But your ability to actually practicality to have practical applications to things that you come up with. You know a guy that can help you with this case. An AI may know information, be able to get you that information, but it can't help you execute on that information.
Yes and no. I think it can replace the knowledge base. It cannot replace what AI is missing, at least in this point, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
We're living in a three-dimensional life.
Mm,
So I'm sitting in front of you in three dimension,
right,
not in two dimension in a digital world or
right.
one dimension. So when I'm sitting in front of you and we talking, I can pick up some nuances and some things from you as a vibe from you as a human being in a three dimension that you can get in one dimensional format. So can AI analyze that? We're not there yet, but there's a company out of Tel Aviv that they originally designed a software for face recognition for the airport,
Mm-hmm.
but now they program the software with AI that you can sit in front of it. You can take any video
Wow,
and it can analyze the personality of the person that's sitting in front of you.
phenomenal.
So we'll see it in the near future that it can replace? Yes. Because the one element that I think AI doesn't have yet is the ability to read people.
Mm-hmm.
You can pick up a nuances, voice, tone, all of that, but it still doesn't give you the accurate count. Sometimes it's the aura, as we call it, right? I mean, the AI can detect your aura. I don't know. I mean, because we are energy,
Yes.
so when I'm sitting here physically in front of you, there's an energy circle between us that can you mimic it to AI? I don't know.
I agree with you. And it's because we have a vibe together. We've known each other for a while, and I can anticipate certain things before I have to. And I don't have to consciously think of that. I just know you well enough right now that we can lean into that together. And that's it. You can't vibe with an AI right now in that sense. You can't really connect with it on that level. Maybe in the future, I think that it will be. But you bring up another point that's interesting, and it's something that you and I were talking about earlier is the way that the landscape is changing and the way that people are investing in AI probably needs to change.
Well, yes, because you see what happened in the last, I don't know, few months. Google and Meta and all those companies fighting an AI talent.
Mm-hmm.
So what you see right now that there's been the startup. What was the last story with what's the company
It
name?
wasn't Perplexity. It was
No, Windsurf,
Windsurfer. Yeah.
right? Windsurfer that they actually bought the founders. They didn't care about the company, but they bought the founders and somehow got access to the intellectual property, and the original investor got screwed in the process, so to speak. I don't know the exact details, but I understand from the sentiment that I read that the investor was pretty upset about it. So you find a lot of founders right now. But here's the difference:
Right.
if you're a tech founder that develop an AI company, that's the case. If you're a business person and you don't have the tech, it's not the case. But if you're a tech founder with the technical background in AI and you start a company, you're going to see a lot of those young guys creating those companies, not because they want to build a company to sell to Google, because they want Google to give them the $100 million signing bonus to come to Google
Oh,
and
yeah.
work for them. So you're going to see quite a bit of those startup company coming to the market, raising capital, making the noise, not because they want to become an AI company, just want to grab the attention of the big guys to acquire their talent, which could be interesting. So you need to be 10 times more diligence on those companies in terms of the assignment of IP, who owns the IP, what happened if the founder leave the company, and blah blah blah.
Well, yeah, Mark Zuckerberg poached the head of AI from Apple for tens of millions of dollars and has basically an open contract that says anybody that wants to jump ship, you can come in here and get salaries for tens of millions of dollars. That obviously would negatively impact whatever company that they're working with or for.
Right. So it was not pocket change. They offer $100 million signing bonus and another $100 million that paid over time. So you don't have to start a company. You can make $200 million without starting anything. Now, there's a lobbying in Washington right now pushing President Trump to make the non-compete a little bit more with teeth in it.
Okay.
So if you poach my employee from Apple to go work for Meta, there's going to be some limitation in the way that because some of the knowledge you acquire in Apple.
Right.
Now, how do you divide human brain when you're using what you learn here and what you lose someplace else? So it will be tricky to see it, but it's definitely going to be the case. It's the race for AI. I mean, all those companies want to acquire the talent to make sure, and sometimes it's not because they need it, just because they don't want the competitors to have it.
Yes. Yes.
And then when you have a company like Meta that can write a check for $100 million and not even think about it, it's just insane.
Well, it is.
Insane.
Well, and the rate of adoption, like we were talking about, OpenAI today has roughly 500 million active daily or active weekly users, and we'll be adding 100 million more per month until hitting 1 billion at the end.
Right.
And is it going to stop there? No. I mean, we just know what it's going to do to the end of the year. So what happens from that point on? I mean, is it going to become one of those things with other new technology where everybody starts up with their unique thing, and then sort of a dominant player starts to emerge, and then others start to fade off, and then you see acquisitions and things like that? Do you think it'll track that way?
It's hard to tell, but I can tell you that my assessment is that look at Nvidia, for example, $4 trillion
Wow,
company,
right?
right? So you're talking about companies that are going to go from zero to be one of the most valued company in the world with 2 employees. You know, it's insane. I mean, you remember the old day that General Motors and General Electric and all those
Yeah.
company was the big ticket in Wall Street, and each one of them had like 400,000 employees.
Yes.
You know, so here you got the one man show that worth $1 billion or $10 billion or $30 billion. It's insane. So the next generation of the valuation of company will have nothing to do with fundamentals, nothing to do with the balance sheets, nothing to do with the actual asset. It's going to be in the perceived value,
That's the perceived value.
right?
That's it.
So can you explain to me how Nvidia is worth $4 trillion? If it's tied to their sales, hell no.
No.
So you remember in New York, I learned years ago that in New York, in some point when New York's become the city, it become real estate developer used to buy the air on top of the other buildings,
Yes. Yes.
right? So it becomes very similar to what you see in the market right now, that investor buying this future of this company, it's nothing to do with the current value of the company. And it's dangerous from one side.
Yes.
And from the other side, it's creating companies, in my opinion, that their valuation have nothing to do with reality.
Well, and that's the danger, right? I
Right.
mean, and so at the end of the day, do we all sit there and say they're just tulip bulbs, which is obviously the way that the stock market started, became overvalued. That was the first crash because people realized that at some point, these are just tulip bulbs. And are we going to realize that these are just chips at some point? Is this company really worth $4 trillion?
Well, yes and no. But, you know, I'm kind of wondering, where is the regulator at some point is going to say to OpenAI, listen, this is an antitrust issue. You can't dominate the world with the thing. We have to break it down.
Yes.
So far, Trump is very against regulation. So as long as he's in power, those companies are going to go bananas, which is
Mhm.
good or bad. But you know, when OpenAI going to have 1 billion users on the platform, or maybe 2 billion at some point,
Yeah.
who can stop a company like that?
You can't. That's it. And that, I mean, unless you look at, if they can't adopt, then they will die. Like IBM, which is not necessarily a great example because they
Right.
didn't die,
Right.
but they're dominant. Xerox is a good company. Kodak is another example. These were companies that dominated markets that the markets no longer exist.
It's true. So the question is, we used to say, remember, in the last 10 years, we went to a lot of pivotal point in development of technology. But in some point about 5 or 6 years ago, before the AI revolution, they said data, it's the new
The
currency.
new oil, yeah.
AI killed it.
Yeah.
Collecting data right now and try to resell it, it's a dead model. I mean, who's going to buy it? I mean, you get it for free from OpenAI or
Exactly.
Perplexity. That's why Apple acquired Perplexity, because they were really good in research and getting the information. So you can get a lot of information today without paying for it.
Mm-hmm.
So data is not a currency anymore, right? In many ways. And plus, the younger generation don't see the value of buying data because it's evolving so quick that it's like, really. I mean, I heard the story this weekend. I don't know the details, but somebody ran a prompt on OpenAI, and by mistake, he downloaded the spreadsheet of the entire British government. You know, names, phone numbers, addresses,
Wow.
anything. You know,
Well, if it's publicly available, ChatGPT can find it.
right?
That's it.
So I'm actually betting on the segment in the market right now that will grow significantly and going to be a lot of investments going on is the upgrade in cybersecurity to combat AI threats. Because AI can create a fake entity
Yes.
that you have to detect. So you're going to see a lot of money pouring in cybersecurity. That's why Google purchased Wiz from Israel, because it's the cloud security, company that apparently have the first one that have the tool to combat AI, threats. But yes, so when I'm looking at a lot of AI companies right now, the company that develop utility on top of OpenAI because they want to solve a particular practical problem, it's actually not a bad investments. But those companies that are trying to become the next OpenAI, or those that building the company because they think they have a unique thing that Google or Facebook will pay $100 million to acquire the talent, it's dangerous. I think most what you see in the market right now, AI becoming utility
Mm-hmm.
in many ways, especially as ChatGPT, right? So it's becoming utility. It's the same thing that young people start relying on Google information,
Mm-hmm.
and then to learn over time that Google's not always give you the correct information.
Sure.
They're going to start learning that AI not necessarily always give you the right information, so you can't take it face value.
Mm-hmm.
What are the things we did through our platform? So we have API to ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, all of them, Claude, Grox, and all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have one prompt we designed to take all the input from all of them and summarize it to one report to eliminate, the biases and
Hallucinations.
the hallucinations that it gets. And the question somebody asked me this weekend, and it was funny. The first time I heard the question about AI, he said, "Forget about the intelligent piece." He said, "When are we going to actually start facing that some of those AI models are going to start having an opinion?" Right?
I love
Yeah,
that.
right.
Right, but absolutely.
Right? Because if I ask you, what do you
Yeah.
think about Donald Trump? You're going to give me a perspective, and I'm
Yeah.
going to ask a certain person, what do you think about Donald Trump?
Yeah.
It's going to so another way, humans have opinions.
Sure.
So you talk about biases and you're talking about inaccuracies, but he asked me the question, when we can actually start seeing that AI kind of have an opinion, and how do you identify that it's an opinion?
And will ChatGPT have a different opinion than Claude, than Gemini? And they probably would, right?
Right.
I mean, and so at what point does that become fact? Because that's not a fact, that's an opinion, right?
Right.
But it's being represented as factual information. And it just comes back to something that Ronald Reagan said so many years ago: trust but verify. I mean, trust what's coming down the pipe for you for information, but verify using other sources that you
Right.
can, because you don't know if it's right or wrong.
So the question is, I don't know much about what's under the hood, but when in some point some of the AI model you're running will be able to define when it's accurate, when it's not, where the resources, when you for an opinion versus, like it's the same with the news channels, right? In the old days, news channels used to report the news.
Mm.
hey, there's a storm happened, there's 20 people got killed, right?
Yeah.
Versus today that every news channel have an opinion about politics.
Yes.
They have an opinion about what's happened. They have an
Yes.
opinion about what's going on in the country. And when you listen to it, are you hearing the news or you're hearing people's opinion about the news,
Yes.
right? They become news makers versus news reporters.
Very well said. Yeah, because they're selectively curating the news that they want to give to you to that you will form the opinion that they want you to have.
Right.
And will AI start doing the same thing?
And when I ask people, well, I'm listening to CNN because CNN is objective. I'm not listening to Fox News because they're pro-Republican. I mean, it's like become like a so it's interesting question. We know that AI hallucinate, but the question is when they're going to start having an opinion, forming an opinion. And not only that, each one of those model eventually going to develop their own personality with their own
Yeah.
opinion
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
values,
Yeah.
you know, which is like,
Are we going to have to start treating them as individuals? What'll be funny is when you start arguing with it, right? I mean, if it's got an opinion and if my opinion is different than yours, then will you argue with me and try to convince me that I'm wrong?
right.
And so that is fascinating.
Because if you get to a point of super intelligence, which means free will and independent thinking,
Yes.
you will actually expect to have that kind of dynamic with an
Yes.
AI that you argue with them and they're going to convince you you're wrong and I'm right and all that. Otherwise, you will never get to a point that it will have independence in the way they analyze information. But it's like one of the craziest questions I heard it. I never thought about it. It's like, when AI going to start having an opinion?
I absolutely love it. It's like, no, you're wrong, Tim. Wait a minute. How can I argue with you? You have all the information at the world at your fingertips, and I'm supposed to be expected to rebut what you've got with this brain and the facts that I have at my
Right.
fingertips. But it comes down to perspective. It comes down to perspective.
Right.
You know, the opinion that I have has been formed by a lot of things that I don't even see or understand anymore, the experiences that I had along the way. And AI doesn't have experiences to rely on. It has other people's experiences to use.
They have other people's experience. They have other people's opinions.
That's true.
Because when you post something or you say something about something, as humans, it's all come from your own opinion about things,
Yes,
right?
of course.
If you're driving an Audi and I'm driving a BMW, I have an opinion about Audi and you have an opinion about BMW. That's why we drive different cars,
Right,
right? Who's right? We both right. We're both wrong,
right. Yeah,
right?
it's subjective.
Yeah.
It's 100% subjective.
So it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how it's going to go. But going back to our original question, is AI make smart people dumber or dumb people smarter? I think it's true in both ways. Smart people get lazier, and some of them will know how to use the AI to become smarter, but most of them become lazier. And dumb people think they become smarter, but they're not really owning that smart because they didn't earn it.
No, there's no intelligence behind it. There's just
Right.
repetition
Right.
or memorization or something.
My biggest fear, that's me personally, is the younger people
Mm.
that they never learn how to. They don't own their smart. They acquire it.
Yes.
And then eventually over time, like I said, this professor saying that the human brain will have to adjust to AI being present with us, and some of the part of the brain is going to die, and then the other one is going to develop to different directions. We don't know where, but it is dangerous for the younger people, especially the young people. Like when you send my granddaughters to school, you want them to work for what they know. You want them to discover it themselves. And if you can, everything on a click of a button, eventually, like,
Multiplication tables.
Right.
I used to learn those in school. I was taught 3 times.
Memorize
I
them.
mean, absolutely. And that's what you're getting to is that when Google came out, human intelligence shifted from memorization to understanding where to look for things, like becoming the Dewey Decimal System, if you will. And now it's shifting again because we don't even have to have that knowledge. AI will take that. So what's next is just asking the right questions?
I
I'm
don't
not
know. So
sure.
we when we were in school, we have to memorize the multiplication table, and then we had the ruler, and then we have the calculator, and now
Yeah.
it's just like now it's just ChatGPT. I mean, can you do the? And that's it. So we need to stop here. So we will bring this segment every month or every other month to keep asking yourself the question: Are we become smarter or dumber using AI? And obviously we're going to learn more as time go by, but it's an interesting point of history, and it's very exciting from one side, and it's very scary from the other side.
I
Depending
agree.
which hand it's falling into.
We'll wait and see.
All right, guys, folks. So thank you for listening. We're going to continue this conversation about the development of AI, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks for stopping by.
Are you interested in becoming a member and joining our group? Please contact Jerron York by phone 248-981-6688 or visit our members' website by using the following QR code. We are looking forward to talking to you soon.